All right, y'all. What's going on? What's going on? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome. I'm inside the triple up more here. Welcome to where our travelers simply glow. I run a little bit of a little, let's just call it a little bit of a, you know what? We'll come close about it. I run a coaching business. Yes. I coach a business. Yeah. Yeah, Susan, I know, right? It's crazy. You never even would have thought it is. I know. But anyway, I call it authentic glow coaching. Okay. And if you like what I have to say so far at the end of this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to take a little further, go to our website. Visit today. www.payhip.com/authentic glow coaching. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I want to talk about actionable steps. How to take small, actionable steps that actually lead to monumental change. So we're going to talk about it today. So hold on. Let me grab a water bottle. So this season, one into the wrap up of Thanksgiving. So hopefully y'all had a good Thanksgiving. Happy belated Thanksgiving as well. So, you know, it's always a really touchy time. And, I'm going to make this a little personal, a little bit, this one, 'cause I can tell y'all want to be close. So, okay. Okay. So Thanksgiving is just a really hard time. It's really about family and being thankful for the things that we find that we're in possession of. Okay. And that is just what we have to do. You know what I mean? That's just like a normal thing for us to have to realize that we have things in our lives that we need to be thankful for, basically. And that's just some of the things that we have to learn how to do by communicating that type of energy to one another. And is that always easy? No, of course not. Probably not. But actionable steps, no matter how small that they are, will eventually lead you to, I like to call it catapulting. Catapulting is a very strength of one's character that gives them monumental results, hence catapults you into stardom or fame or wealth or happiness or success or just a well-behaved, well-rounded character as a young lady and as also a female, which means you're probably not really prone to just anybody coming into your home or sleeping around with just any and everybody just for the sake of gaining clout. You know what I mean? Like the fact that we see so many people ultimately ending and going into divorce rates and things of that nature, it lets us know that something's out of alignment and something's out of whack with our moral. And we need to address these issues. Maybe some of the steps that we were taking were things that were wrapped up around issues that we refuse to have taken those actionable steps. Even if just tying our shoelaces, taking the time to actually step into our shoes, taking the time to simply make sure that we have tied our belt appropriately or just made an effort to show up. Even just doing those small things allows us to ultimately experience changes that reflect a great monumental type of welcomage into something that we've been dreaming about for maybe 10 years. And to finally arrive and have its arrival is ultimately a really grandeur of a feeling and experience, even as we continuously express thanks for it. And that revolves around just knowing that you even took those small steps. For myself, whenever I'm home or I'm trying to keep things in order, those small actionable steps place in a teapot where it goes in its proper place. Just having a particular bag that I enjoy carrying for becoming a beautiful woman that leads to great heights because of her rich chick energy What type of lunch tote am I carrying? By making an actionable step to obtain and attain this particular bag, I show up a certain way. That ultimately leads to my mental progression. When I take the time out to sit down and make sure that I'm clothed properly, appropriately, a tucked shirt, a nice cinch waist, my belt looks good, my bra is together, my undergarments are in place, my feminine hygiene is well taken care of. I have to make sure that we take care of our mouth, our oral hygiene, our teeth. I love writing. As I take a small actionable step to make sure that lady is personified, I have to come and show up a certain way. And that means that as I step into who that young lady is, she shows up in tortoiseshell glasses. Eyeglasses, they're not prescriptions, but the prescription says writer. That's ultimately where the small step comes in at. How can I attain the things that I'm looking for to give a certain persona that I'm looking for? When you answer that question by those small actionable steps, not just buying the very first thing that you see that kind of sort of resembles the look that you're going for, but actually waiting a few days, making sure you have enough that you actually cover your expense. So that means you're within your budget. Because trying to give off a certain persona, and that equates to trying to break the bank to do so. And therefore, you take the power away from yourself and you place it into the hands and on the shoulders of someone else who is not deserving. Or maybe they're really good people, but they're less deserving because ultimately you're the grand prize. Your opinion matters. Your thoughts matter. So those small actionable steps matter. Now, those are just a few examples of how taking small actionable steps will impact you in monumental ways. And for an example, someone else wants to constantly steal your energy. And so you think of ways to personify who you know that you are. And you know that you cannot be great unless you choose to personify this particular entity because it's so unique to who you are as a young lady or as a young man. By the time you do these things, you know that nobody else can embody this particular persona. What is it that they say? Be yourself because everybody else is taken. Taking one, taking two, taking three. I love all of them with William Nelson, something like that. He just be in there kicking butt all day long. I have a certain set of students. You know what I mean? If anybody is unfamiliar, I suggest y'all kind of sort of find those. But be in a mood for it because it's very cutthroat. You know what I mean? It's just very like just straight slits. You know, so it's definitely not a comedy. It's definitely action packed, maybe a thriller and things of that nature. So if that's your kind of cup, just for informational purposes, I totally recommend and encourage you all to check out those particular series. It's kind of sort of like a rush hour 1, 2, 3, taking 1, 2, and 3, you know, those type of energies for sure, for sure. And so again, you want to always bring back the focus onto yourself and take it off of other people. Now, if they do something else that is a replica of what you've already did, you know that those are not necessarily your people. They're just kind of sort of replicas and minions or copycats. And ultimately, the look that you're going for is so original. So you always want to make sure that that is what you replicate, original, and not just something else that you saw. Okay. So being original is hard. It is difficult. And again, the things that are difficult are usually well worth the struggle. Like and subscribe. I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye. Take your small actionable steps that will lead to monumental change that will catapult you into the young lady that you are to become.